Hello, I'd like to introduce you to Objective Loom's approach to smarter accounts receivable. So, Objective Loom are responsible for creating, distributing and automating your most important documents. In this graph here, we're talking about the complete supply chain of where your documents work. Maybe it's accounts payable and the invoice processing of it. Maybe it's the sales order automation and the proof of delivery. Maybe even it's purchase orders leaving the business. But in this presentation, I want to talk to you about accounts receivable. So let's think about the existing situation that you might have in your organisation. You may have a process which is very manual, it's very paper driven, it takes an awful long time. So some of the things we want to talk about over the next couple of minutes is how we can help you and understand those issues and how we can help you move forward with them. So as an accounts receivable manager in the organisation, you may have two issues that you want to deal with. The first one is how long it takes for your invoices to get paid, but also about the cost of those invoices going through the organisation. The Aberdeen Group suggests that the whole cost of producing a single invoice may be as much, if not more, as $7. But also, you're thinking about your customers. So you're not only trying to produce an efficient process, but you're also thinking about how your customers are interacting with you as well. And your customers are asking for new things. And your customers are saying, well, hey, you know what? I want to pay you quicker. I want to be able to talk to you better. I want to be able to interact in the way I interact. So you're getting conflicting challenges. You're getting challenges from the internal organisation about how you produce the documents, but your customers are also asking you how to get their documents better as well. The process of producing an invoice is actually ages old. We've been doing it in business for many, many years. So there's now a real driver for change. And PayStream is now trying to work out what those drivers are. Those drivers are electronic. They're digitisation. They're people wanting to receive their invoices electronically. It helps them process better. It helps with the pain of dispute resolution because it makes those things easier to find. And all of those things are now starting to drive the change in AR. But yet, with all of those things, why do 53% of organisations still rely on the manual process that they've had for many years? Well, it's a fear of change. And it's a fear of loss of control. There's these rigid systems. How do I make them change? How do I influence that change? How do I give my customers what they want? These are all things that are stopping people moving away from the manual process they have now. So let's consider the processes you're using now. Maybe you're going to continue to use your paper-based process. Hey, it works. It's got a high error rate and maybe it costs you an awful lot of money, but you still get invoices out the door. Now, because you're being driven to talk to customers digitally, the only way people think that they can email a document is actually to print multiple copies of an invoice and scan it in and send a scanned image of the PDF as an email attachment. That also works if you then want to talk to your EDM system. The problem is you're printing multiple copies of a document purely to apply a manual process. It's redundant. Introducing the OL approach to smarter AR, for which we prefer a blend of technologies. So, let's think about that current process again. If you look on my screen here and look at the graphical representation, your ERP system is printing something out. You may be going to a printer. Maybe you're using pre-printed stationery as part of this process, which has an expense to it. But then, once again, as we've talked about, to get that out, you're scanning it to then manually email each individual one. It's a very manual process. And you're doing the same to the ECM system. You're trying to keep an archived copy, you're manually scanning each one and indexing it. But also the invoices that you're actually sending out, you've actually got to manually fold it and place it into an envelope. How many staff do you have that fold pieces of paper into an envelope? And then finally, you may keep a manual copy of that invoice as well. So you're manually shoving it into a great big filing box. But now with our OL Connect technology, we can help you speed up and understand and make some of these things more efficient. So, once again, the ERP system continues to print as it does now. No change to that system at all. But once we get it inside Connect, we can start to do the really clever stuff. So we can compose whatever document you like. We can put whatever you need to on the document. But also from there, we can then start to send it to the web and to the email. We can print it. We can make it ready for the folder inserters. We can start to apply mail sortation to that. We can talk to EDI systems that maybe then talks on to logistics companies. Maybe we can talk it directly through to an ECM system with indexing, so you don't have to do that manual process. By sending all of your documents into the OL Connect world, we can improve the efficiency and reduce the manual process of how that's working. We've added in the latest branding using high definition graphics. We've done calculations of the invoices so we can produce easy for customers to read sections. We've put in promotions. We've put in dynamic graphics. We've even put in a payment slip at the bottom. Over here, we've put barcodes in that make it easier for you to receive the document later on. This little document on the side, that enables us to run inserters. So, by taking your existing data from an ERP system, what we're doing is making that document far more functional for both your customers and for you to use. Now, let's take the next step. This is an HTML email. That HTML email still runs from the same ERP print that you've been sending out. But now OL Connect is turning that into an interactive, adaptive document that can be viewed on any phone, tablet or desktop. It still contains all the same information, but actually it's designed to be read on the web. Here's some key points. Down here is a payment button. We can now place payment buttons onto documents we send out so that people can pay you quicker. Here's a promotion. If people like it, they click on it, they go through to your website, driving traffic to your web presence. And down here as well, social media. They can interact now in social media and talk about what a great experience they've had because you were talking to them interactively via the method that they want to talk to you. But once you're in a digital world, the possibilities become endless. We're taking that ERP data that may be difficult for you to use and manage, and we're creating great paper documents. But also we're moving into this digital world without much change. It's very simple. So we can start to do all kinds of clever stuff with the data that already came out of your ERP system. So let's summarize some of the key capabilities. We can deliver a lot of this clever functionality without making any change to your ERP systems at all. What that means is we're reducing the manual processes that you currently have to manage your most important document. And we're adding on to that the ability of digital distribution. Talk to your customers the way your customers want their documents. So what's in it for you? What's the key benefits? Reduce or eliminate even all of the manual processes you have in managing these documents. Reduce the need for scanning, reduce the need for handling paper. Gain flexibility over this key business process that you might have to manage every day. And most importantly, improve your customers' experience of dealing with you. Let's talk about some key differentiators with Objective Loom. We have the largest installed base within our industry, but we're an enterprise software company designed for the mid-market. We're a global company with local offices designed to give you global support, but also during any project, we implement very fast. We're here to respect your budgets and respect your timescales. And finally, once we've done an implementation, we're here to support you all the way. We're here to give you control of the software that you've just bought. We're here to give you control of your processes again, to be able to deliver some of the efficiencies that we've just spent the last few minutes talking about.